Welcome into Thoughts of the Challenge. And I am your host, your boy Mito, and we are back on the scene. I am outside because I needed some sun time. I needed some air. You hear the birds chirping. It's a beautiful day. And how better than to start the podcast that we have put together by being outside? It's amazing out here right now. And even though I just got bit by an ant, I'm not going to hate on it. The ant needed to do what it needed to do. In which brings us into our segment of today. We are working through the science of perception, living through learning and learning through living. I tell you this because it is a strange thing to be alive. It is a strange thing to be human. And it is strange every day. Every one of us wake up believing we're seeing the world exactly as it is, but we aren't. We're seeing the world through an architecture of our own minds, meaning we're seeing it, but we're not really seeing it. Think about your childhood home. Close your eyes for a moment and visualize what that looked like. You can probably smell the kitchen, hear the door closing. Remember a voice that comforted you, or maybe one that frightened you. Nothing's happening in front of you, yet your body responds as if it is. Your heart changes, your breathing changes, your emotions change. Your brain isn't simply storing memories, it's recreating experiences. This is one of the most fascinating discoveries in neuroscience. Your brain is constantly making predictions about the world. It compares the present moment to everything you've experienced before. Instead of waiting for reality to happen, it guesses what reality will be and fills in the blanks. That's efficient. It keeps us alive, but also becomes our prison because eventually you stop reacting to life. You react to your prediction of life. The child who grew up believing love had to be earned becomes the adult who exhausts himself trying to prove they're worthy. The kid who was laughed at in school becomes the adult who never starts a business because they can already hear the criticism before anyone has spoken. The person who has failed several times begins seeing failure before opportunity, not because failure is certain, but because familiarity feels safer than possibility. The brain chooses familiar long before it chooses better. That isn't weakness, it's biology. But biology is not destiny. Scientists call the brain's ability to change neuroplasticity. When you get into the healing and the science of all of this, you'll hear neuroplasticity amongst every podcast, amongst every researcher, amongst everybody who brings this part into our everyday lives. When you start to study, every repeated thought strengthens certain neural pathways. Every repeated behavior reinforces it. Every repeated emotional response teaches the brain what to expect next. All right. Imagine walking through a field. The first trip is difficult. Tall grass, uneven grounds, heavy things. Everything seems like impossible to get by. You have to force your way through. But if you walk the same path every day, eventually it becomes a trail. Walk it for years, it becomes the only road you know. Your thoughts work exactly the same way. Negative thinking isn't simply thinking negatively. It's a highway built from repetition. Confidence works the same way. Peace works the same way. Healing works the same way. Everything repeated becomes easier. Not because life changed, because your nervous system did. Think about when you first started working out and you went into the gym and that first day was hell because you couldn't get one thing right. You couldn't get one thing down. But you didn't give up. You went back the next day, did it again. Then you went back the next day, did it again. A repeated behavior makes everything more comfortable. Now, here's where science meets something humanity has observed for thousands of years. Ancient philosophies speak about cause and effect. Plant a seed, a tree follows. Every action creates another action. Physics tells us every action has consequences. Psychology tells us every belief influences behavior. Your internal world becomes your external pattern. Whether you call it the law of cause and effect, personal responsibility, or simply habit, the principle is remarkably consistent. You rarely rise above the identity you repeatedly practice. That doesn't mean you magically attract everything that happens to you. Life includes accidents, injustice, loss, pain, trauma, and circumstances beyond anyone's control. But it does mean your interpretation of those events shape what you do next. And what you do next slowly shapes your future. Healing begins there, not by pretending pain never happened, not by forcing not by forcing positive thoughts over real wounds. Healing isn't forgetting. Healing is remembering without reliving. There is a big difference. Many people believe healing means never hurting again. Nah, bro. Healing means the memory no longer controls the steering wheel. The scar remains. The wound stops driving. We all met someone who lived through unimaginable pain, yet somehow radiates. We also met people whose lives appear perfect, but carry storms inside them. Circumstances alone never explain the difference. Perception does. Meaning does. Choices does. Think about the last argument you had. Maybe someone criticized you. Maybe they doubted your dreams. Maybe they questioned your character. Notice what happened. The words lasted seconds, but your mind replayed them for hours, sometimes days, sometimes years. One sentence became hundreds, not because the world kept attacking you, because the brain kept replaying the prediction. Your nervous system doesn't always distinguish between real threats and remembered ones. It reacts to both, which means many of us spend our lives fighting ghosts that only exist inside old neural pathways. And here's the tragedy, we call it personality. It goes like this: I'm just anxious. I'm just angry. I'm just not confident. I'm just unlucky. Nah, bro. Those may be deeply practiced patterns, but patterns can change. This is one of the most hopeful discoveries modern neuroscience offers. So, how do we begin? I'm here to give you 3 steps. Hopefully, we can work this out simply and you can add it and adapt it into your life in any way that fits your everyday life. Step 1: become the observer. Before you rebuild your life, you must meet the architect. Notice your thoughts without immediately believing them. Ask yourself, who taught me this belief? When did I first decide I wasn't enough? Is this truth or is this familiar? Your thoughts are not commands, they are suggestions. The moment you observe them instead of obeying them, something extraordinary happens. You create space, and inside that space lives freedom. That's step 1. Be the observer. Step 2: create alignment. Alignment isn't about pretending everything is perfect. It is about bringing your thoughts, your words, and your actions into agreement. If you tell yourself you're building a healthier life, but your daily action moves in the opposite direction, your nervous system receives conflicting signals. If you say you value honesty, but hide from difficult conversations, the conflict remains. Alignment grows when what you believe, what you say, and what you repeatedly do begin pointing in the same direction. Think of an orchestra. If every instrument plays a different song, there's only noise. When they play together, something beautiful emerges. The same is true inside us. Alignment doesn't eliminate struggle, it gives struggle a direction. Step three. All right. All right. We're in step three. Live the lesson before you feel it. Most people wait to feel confident before taking action, but confidence is often the result, not the requirement. The brain learns through evidence. Each promise you keep to yourself becomes proof. Each uncomfortable step becomes data. Each moment you choose growth over habit rewires expectation. The first workout isn't about fitness, it's evidence. The first difficult conversation isn't about winning, it's evidence. The first time you choose forgiveness instead of resentment, evidence. Slowly, the brain stops asking, can I become this person? It begins saying, this is who we are now. That's transformation, not in one dramatic moment, but in the thousands of ordinary choices. Living through learning, learning through living. Life isn't testing you, life is teaching you. Every disappointment asks what beliefs you're carrying. Every victory asks whether you'll stay humble enough to keep learning. Every relationship reflects something about the way you love, trust, protect, or fear. Every setback becomes a classroom if you're willing to become the student. The greatest present isn't failure, it's certainty. The belief that you've already figured yourself out. Because the moment you've decided you've reached the end of your story, you stop writing new chapters. So today, don't chase a new life. Build a new perception. Protect it. Practice it. Strengthen it. Your mind will resist. Your emotions will protest. Old habits will invite you back. Smile. Thank them for trying to keep you safe. And keep walking because every step forward is teaching your brain a new prediction. Every day lived with intention becomes another brick in a new foundation. Healing isn't becoming someone else. Alignment isn't becoming someone else. Growth isn't becoming someone else. It's remembering that beneath the fear, beneath the conditioning, beneath every story you've repeated for years, there has always been a wiser version of you waiting to be practiced. Live through learning, learn through living. One perception, one decision, one ordinary day at a time. And one day, you'll look back and realize the biggest miracle wasn't that the world changed, it was that the person looking at the world did. And with that, this is Thoughts of the Challenge. And I am your host, your boy Mito. I appreciate all the love and respect. I appreciate all you listening and keeping up with the journey that we are on today with this podcast. And please continue to show your love. Send this to your friends who deeply need this and anybody else who will receive the message of understanding and the lesson that goes with it. I thank you all, and I will catch you all on the next go round.